Hello, it's Bud here, and welcome to episode 4 of the Roundup. In today's episode, we're going to go through this week's matches that we've just had, also predictions for next week, and we also have a player tier list with all of the players that have played or still play in the CDL this season. I'm looking forward to the tier list. That again, what I'll just give a shout out to Kenny who suggested it. We obviously did the teams one last week, and we're going to do a player one this week. Um, so yeah, we had 9 matches this week. There was a couple of close series, but a lot of them were pretty dominant from the top 4. New York obviously looked good again after a really poor couple of weeks. But the first news that we've got about teams playing poor is we have actually got a roster change, and this is from the rotation, so it's reliable. And their sources saying that Johnny will be replacing Asim on the Las Vegas Legion. Now, obviously, Asim had only had 4 series since joining the Legion. They got 3-0'd every single time, and it just wasn't working out. To be honest, it just was not working out. Obviously, he was replaced for Purge, which I think at the same time, getting rid of Purge was the right decision, but Vegas look horrendous now. If I was to pick a sub for them, I would have honestly went for Hixie. I think he's one of the best SMGs that's still in challenges, and the fact that he got to a grand final and won a major last year and's playing in challenges this year is ridiculous. And I still think getting Envoy was the right decision for the Ultra, don't get me wrong, but the fact that Hixie's still playing in challenges is ridiculous. So obviously, Johnny has played with the Legion before when it was Paris Legion. Will it be a successful move? I think it'll be better than having Asim on the team, but they just need to start getting more kills because they're losing series because of it. So I think it's an okay. I think it's okay, to be honest. A lot of criticism towards Asim on social media. Some pretty nasty stuff I've seen. Like he's underperformed. Do I think he should have been dropped now? I think with champs being on the line and the qualification being so close, I think there's 30 points separating 5th, who's Minnesota Rocket, and 11th, which is the Miami Heretics, and then you've just got Boston on 50. So every CDL point counts now for those 4 spots to be in champs, seeing as the top 4 are already secured pretty much. But I still think ASIM should have had the major, and if they got top 12, then they make the change. But I can understand why they didn't want to take that risk. So it does make sense. Moving on, we have got the games from this week. So we'll start with Miami versus New York. And as you can see, a lot better from New York. Vickle had a really rough series there, but you can see the slaying. Hydra is one of the best players in the game, and you'll see that for when I do the tier chart. But he was on it today. 39 kills in the 6-star. I said today, Friday, you know what I meant. Yeah, it was pretty dominant. The hard point was close for most of it, but then New York just these big teams can close these matches out, whereas the lower teams just can't. Now this is for me is the standout series. So first of all, obviously you can see it was 3-2 to Optic. One of Boston's players, Beans, is injured. He's hurt his back and was unable to play, so they had to get their coach, Shawnee, who was only playing challenges recently, to be fair to him, came in and played, and he actually wasn't that bad. And you can see, for a team that have 0-5 and have 50 CDL points, playing the second best team in the game probably, It was extremely close to Boston winning the series. Snoopy matching the kill record, 115 kills from him. Kenny had a rough series, a lot of deaths there. The first map, though, there was obviously the controversy when Boston were like 100-8 up, and then Kenny was lagging loads, and then they had a reset, and that didn't even stop Boston. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Shawnee getting 25 kills, the coach, getting 25 kills. Crazy. But they thoroughly deserved that. But then it came to Search and Destroy, and Boston's Search and Destroy record is absolutely horrendous. And so is their Game 5s. It wasn't like a blowout, but it was pretty comfortable for Optic here in the Search. You kind of expected them to win both Searches, just because of how bad Boston are, and especially with it being a coach as well playing for them. And then the Invasion Control. This is where I started to think Optic might lose this. You know, Dashi did well, 7,200 damage. Wait, was this the series? Oh, this is also the the damage record here by Dashi. That's the most damage in a series so far this year. But yeah, I think at this point, with everyone knowing how good Boston are at hardpoint and just beating Optic at hardpoint and Karachi, it was going to be close. And wow, it was a nail biter, to be honest. I think everyone, bar Shawnee, but you've got to remind that he is the core. He's one of the coaches, so you can't obviously criticise him because I think he actually played really well. Everyone had a really good map here. It was, I mean, Snoopy obviously was the standout with the amount of kills he got, but as I'll show you now, how Optic won this map was really good, and especially from Shotzi. So I've got a clip here. This is just the end of the map. I'm just going to show you.
His teammates in a position to trade these. Shotzi gets him down to 6 HP, number 40. For Snoopy. A pinch out of Dashi. As Optic get the break.
They get in 40 on the board for Snoopy.
Can't win here though, so Boston have to play this smart.
23 points separating these squads, and we get ready for the next hard point to pop here shortly, but we'll see how much of this time Optic Texas is able to get, or if you can clear him out. Maybe get some uncontested time inside of the point. Kenny with 2. Pred with the other 2. Squad wipe in, spawning out as Boston Breach, next hard point up.
Yeah, you saw Optic trying to get so far forward. They wanted to see if they could get Boston to spawn behind them. Does not work out. But now you see the position. You are very conservative is Boston Breach. You don't really have anyone middle of the map. So this first push, very far forward for Optic. A couple of kills go their way. They will have the spawns. Shotzi able to control it.
It's a hell of a stun. It's a hell of a stun. Shotzi, unbelievable plays here. And what could be our final hard point? Shotzi ends up getting 3, kills Priesta twice in that transition and gets them in. An incredible moment from Shotzi. Now can you answer if you're Boston Breach? You got a chance to do this. Enough time here for either squad to win. 238, 238. Here comes the moment now for Boston Breach. Opener from Priesta.
Trading is not
Seriously.
for everyone, but if you are a trader.
And
The rest of Optic holding.
Yeah, but Pred gets a kill on the front of the hill, so no, it's a 2-on-2. There's a contest. Pred and Shotzi. Looks like they're going to get us to a game 5.
We go the whole way, and despite the monster performance, you get there from Snoopy. Shotzi. Just some insane.
First of all, I can't believe there was an advert there. So you can see the player that I think let me just scroll back a bit. But the fact that Optic got a 4 dead here in the feed, Kenny got 2 and Pred got 2, it just meant that one person could stay on the hill, the other 3 could push P3. And yeah, that had a huge impact on winning the map and ultimately the series. I think it was really good play from all 4 of OPTIC there, especially Shotzi on that last hill though to win it. But yeah, that was a really good bit of play there from OPTIC to win the map. And then it got to the high rise. Snoopy again, pretty good. OPTIC's high rise stats are not good, but I still expected them to win because it was a game 5 against Boston Breach. Pred stepped up in this map. 12 kills, and OPTIC got the dub. Not really a dub to gloat about, but they'll still be happy that they won, but they had to sort things out for their next match, which was against LAG. And then FaZe beat the Legion 3-0. I'll just show you the stats. It's dominant. It's dominant. Moving on to Saturday, we had New York versus Vegas again. Dominant. A 0.63 for Pura team. Hydra frying. Sib's damage there a lot better than it was the day before. Yeah, really good from Hydra. Again, but he was the MVP last year, so it's kind of what you'd expect. Now, this series, this was a bit disappointing, I think, for the Ravens, because they should have won map 1, but just like Boston against OPTIC on 6-star, they just couldn't close out, and FaZe brought it back. But and then after that, so I'll just show you the stats for map 1. So Gwyn and Claire did really well, Celium did well. But you can see that like FaZe didn't like have like the killing power they normally have until the end of the map, where a BG started to pop off. Now with the search and destroy, it was obviously 4-0 to the Ravens, and then FaZe won 5 in a row, and then Ravens won the last 2 with a TJ Halley ace. Sloppy really from the Ravens to give up a 4 lead, but they did win it, so they'll be okay with that. The high rise was disappointing. I mean, Claire, a 0.5 is not ideal. And then the Vista, again, another 0.5. So I think Claire had a good first 2 maps, was really good. Second 2 maps, he struggled a lot. But they are against the best team in the game. But obviously now they've got a huge qualifier next against Rocker. Obviously with the CDL points for the champs bracket, who's going to make champs, they're obviously huge, the online matches. But whoever wins between Rocker and Ravens will be in winners bracket. So that's why it's huge. But yeah, I think FaZe again, it was a bit of an off day for them, and they still won. And then we had LAG versus OPTIC. And again, a really close one, and LAG did pretty well. I think Flames was good again, and Estriel. I think everyone played well, really, on the LAG side. And I think everyone played well on the OPTIC side. Another relatively close 6-star. Obviously, a couple of players for LAG didn't have the firepower, and I think that's why they lost the map. And then it was a 6-star search, which I know it was 6-4, but it was quite dominant from OPTIC. Obviously, Dashy 13 kills. I think he had 2 1v2s in that match as well. And then the high rise, quite disappointing, I think, for OPTIC that they didn't win this and get the 3-0. And then the map 4, I think LA Gorillas were about 90 points in front. I think it was about 190 to 106, around that area. But OPTIC fought back, just like FaZe did on Karachi against the Ravens. I mean, 31 kills from DiamondCon and 29 from Firm. They had the gun power, but they used their 2 cruise missiles and did nothing with them. And then OPTIC, being OPTIC, managed to fight back and get the win. And then the matches that we had on Sunday, so we had Miami versus Seattle. I had Seattle winning this 3-2 before it started, but Miami actually were quite good. Real, for me, was MVP. 99 kills in the series. But I do think it was quite good from Miami. They showed why they can still fight for a champ spot. I mean, they're obviously only 10 points off, but they haven't won a match on LAN yet. And they could still get winners bracket. I need to see who they still face. I'll have to check that. But map 1, they had all the... I mean, that was dominant, really, based off the kills and the damage. Then Seattle obviously won the search. 0-4 did pretty well. Real did well. Then the control was won by Miami. Lucky. I think Lucky went on a 10 streak in this map. And then the search went the way of Seattle. But then for Seattle being such a good team at Search and Destroy, they got slammed by the Heretics here. 6-1. And yeah, it was a pretty straightforward map 5 for Miami, who have only gained, if I'm right in saying this, they've only gained 40 points since Major 1. So they've won 2 online. I think they went 5-2 in the Major 1 split, and then went 2-5, and now we're 2-4 in this one. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. And then Toronto 3-0. Relatively close in terms of the search, and I would say probably the control was close-ish. If we look at the stats, Scrap obviously playing good as always. Insight struggled, so he did quite well. Gunless did alright. Accuracy though, Envoy, not ideal really from Envoy, but they won the series. They'll be okay with it. They'll figure it out. And then the last match was Boston versus Thieves. So again, Shawnee stepped in. Map 1 was dominant from the Thieves. All 4 of them played really well. Map 2, I know Snoopy got 13, obviously Ghosty got 13. However, for that round 11, Snoopy rushing into their spawn, and then he's literally screwed because they see him. He can't get out the door, he's stuck underground. And they all rush him, and then it's a 4v3. Boston were really good in that invasion, especially invasion control, especially Pentagram, 32-13. Some good shooting out of him. But then again, the Thieves were just pretty good in that. Rio, I mean, Shawnee the coach getting 31 kills, but Ghosty was really good in this series, and I think it shows his ability. So that was the matches from this week. We'll do our predictions. Unfortunately, I've got a two game week here. A positive though is after the major, there's no break. Actually, no, there might be now, because they changed. I'll have to check that. So I've got Toronto 3-0 against Boston. It's going to be 0-6. Thieves versus Seattle, 3-1 to Thieves. The Thieves have brought it back magnificently. I think they should not have been reverse swept by the Rocker either. They should be 5-0. Who's their last match against? We'll soon find. I just want to check that. OPTIC. Right, I think they should have went 6-1 this series. Boston versus Vegas. Right, I'm going to probably get pelters for this. But obviously, I'm not sure how good Johnny's going to be. I can't believe I'm predicting this. But I'm going to say 3-1 to Boston. I don't know why. I think they could win both hard points in the control. And Boston actually win a series. Now, the big one is this one. Minnesota versus Carolina for winners. Obviously, being a big fan of Clay, I am gonna be a bit biased, and I'm gonna say 3-2 to the Ravens, and they will get that winners bracket spot and 10 huge CDL points because they're currently outside. They're currently 10th on 95. It's going to be so close. Every win counts now. That's why all of the teams that are 5th and 11th will want Boston to win their series, because they ain't going to catch up unless Boston are going to have to get top 4 at the major for a chance to get champs, and that just won't happen. Seattle versus FaZe, 3-0 to FaZe. Miami LAG, so this is the other one for winners bracket, so I knew there was 2 big games for winners bracket. Let me just check that out. Boston, Vegas, and then the losers of those 2. Boston, Vegas, and then... Yeah, so basically Boston and Vegas are already out of contention. So it's basically whoever wins Minnesota, Carolina, and Miami LAG. But the only issue is they're going to end up playing FaZe and OPTIC. Or FaZe and Ultra. Depending on the map count and if they actually win their matches. So it's not going to be ideal, but obviously they would get the chance for an upset. But it's unlikely. It'll probably just be a 3-0 or a 3-1. I'm actually going to go for Miami. I think Miami Heretics will win this 3-1. And Miami will take that winners bracket spot. And they'll probably play OPTIC and lose again. And then Pred will do a celebration. The big match on this... Wait, have I missed a match? Oh, no, I haven't, sorry. The big one. Toronto versus New York. I'm really unsure on this one, actually. Because if New York lose, I'm not sure what the map counts are like, but if certain teams win, they could end up being like 5th or 6th seed. And then they could end up playing an Ultra in winners round 1, which would mean we wouldn't have the top 4, the big 4, all going through to the next round. But I'm going to go for 3-1 Ultra. And then Thieves versus OPTIC, I'm going to go for 3-1 to OPTIC. My MVP for the week is Hydra. I think he was really good this week. It's between him and Ghosty for me. Anyway, moving on, we have got our tier list, and this is going to be based off the whole season, or for how long they were in the league for, because we've got past players from this season and current players. I just had to double check that was Pentagram, but without glasses on. So Z is the best, then S, then A, then B, then C, then D. I'm going to also probably put them in order. No, there won't really be... There'll be an order for the Z tier and probably the S tier, but there isn't going to be an order for who goes in the C tier and stuff like that. So we'll just do it in order that they've given us here. So Abizi, Z, Celium Z, Draza S, Simp S, Z, and I'm putting Simp first, because at the moment he's probably one of the contenders for MVP. He probably is #1 contender. Then we've got Beans. I'll put Beans in B. For now, I can easily change it. Capsidals was poor when he played this season. I'm going to put Pentagram at C as well. Priester, I honestly think for being a world champ last year, I'm going to put Priester in C. I just, he's struggling a lot. I'm going to put Slasher at, that's Snoopy, whoops. I'm going to put Slasher at B. There's most people are going to be in B and C. There won't be many people that go in. There won't be many people that go in D. Well, there's someone I was going to put in D, but it looks like they've not actually been included, which was GodRx. Looks like he hasn't been included, but he would have been in D. Snoopy, I can't really afford to put all these. I'm going to put him in B, but they're obviously not doing great, because if they were doing good, then they wouldn't be on 50 points. Clay, I'm going to put in C. I love the guy. You know, him and Scump are my favourite ever players, but overall, the inconsistencies. The same with Fellow. Gwyn, I think. I'm going to put Gwyn at S. TJ, Halley, I'm going to put in B. Like I said, B, C, D, and probably A won't be ordered. Assault, D. Diamond Con, C. Estriel, B. Fame. Again, for Fame, it's just the inconsistencies, so I'm going to put him in C. Flames, from what I've seen of Flames, it looks alright. So because he's only had a few series, it's hard to tell. So I'll put him in B for now. Afro, C. Cammy, C. Ghosty, S. Obviously, you'd probably still want Draza over these two. These two, it's tough for which order. Because I think these are the two best players outside the big four teams. Oh, I'll have to come back to that. Joe Deceives, it's overall, so I'm going to put him, I know I wasn't going to order, I'm going to put him right at the top of C, just because the Major 1 split was bad, and then Major 2 he went into challenges, but he's been good in Major 3. But because he's been in before, if he'd only played Major 3, he'd probably be in B, and maybe even close to A. Kremp, I really don't. For now, I'm just going to put these both in C, but I'm not sure. Asim, I'm going to put in D, I think. I could, like I said, I could change it. Attach, I'm going to put in A. Yeah, he's struggled this stage, but you can't deny he was one of the better players in stage 1 and 2. Geo, I'll put in B for now. The same as Nero. Purge, I'm going to put in D as well. Right, and then we've got the Heretics. There's going to be more people in D than I thought. Obviously, I'll change it once I've put everyone in. Eric Boom, D. Yearney, I'm going to put in C. I think he was still harshly dropped. And I'm not just saying that because he was in my fantasy at the start of the season. But because they get replacements, I'm probably got Real in my team now. For my team where you can't change it all season. I think I had, at the start, it was Dashi, Celium, Hugh and Yearney, but C for Lucky, C just for Metals because he has good maps. Real B and Vickle C because Real had showed when he was on the Ravens what he could do, and he's obviously currently frying for the Heretics. Lamar, I don't know with Lamar because he was so good in stage 1. I'll put him at C now because he's not the same player as he was. Gunless has done alright, but I'll put him in C. I'm going to put Linz. For now, I'll put him in A, but I could change that. Awakening actually goes in the D section. Standy C. I still think Vivid being dropped was harsh. I'm going to put Vivid in B, but maybe that could be controversial. We'll have to see what you guys think. Hydra Z. I'm going to put him there. Kismet. Based off this year, he's not been the same. Last year, he was unbelievable. I'm going to put him in A for now, but I could change that. Sib, A. Skies. I don't know. I'll end up changing this, alright. I'll end up changing it. O4, I like what I see from him, so I'll put him in B. Abuser, quite inconsistent, I'll put C. I'm going to put Arcites in C. Brezzy in C. Huke in C. I like Huke, but probably C. I'm going to put Illy in B, because he was really good before he got dropped. Who's that? Kleenex. Yeah, I think that's fair. Envoy, I'm still gonna put Envoy in A, I think, for now, but I'll put him at the back of it. I've ordered A as well. Insight S still. I'll change the order. Scrap Z. Right, now this is where I get bloody biased here. Dashi. I think Dashi's better than Draza. Obviously, whoever's going to be playing with Simp, Abizi, and Celium, they're always going to look better. Kenny, I'll put in S as well. And I'll put Pred in S. And I'll put Shotzi. I'll probably put Shotzi at the top of S. Right, let me reorder this. So D, so obviously the worst player in the CDL this season. Right, I'm going to put Purge there. No, I can't. Right, Asim can go there, to be fair. Maybe it's harsh because he was alright when he was on the Boston team. Obviously, these ones aren't going to be ordered. I'm going to move Kremp to B. The only issue with Kremp, though, is some inconsistencies on some of his maps. Fair Diamond Con's alright. I knew I'd end up... Right, no, if I can't have Kremp... Right, I'm putting Kremp and Joe Deceives in B. I knew I'd change this, Lords. Right. I think I'm happy with that for now, because Diamond Con has good maps, but he also can have quite bad maps. He was good in Major 1, Major 2, though not so much. Right, I'm happy with those two. I'll put him there. Ilya, like O4 and Flames, we've not seen enough of them, so I'm happy to keep them there for now. But like I said, it's harder to judge. Vivid, I thought Vivid was good. I don't think he should have been dropped for Standy. Real's fine there. Nero, yeah, because we're basing it off the whole season, I'll keep those two in B. Flames in Australia, TJ, yeah. I don't know about Beans, to be honest. Right, I'm going to make a quick change here. I'm going to put Beans out, and I'm going to put Diamond Con in. There we go, I'm happy with that. Right, I'm happy with that. Now, A. So these are the 6 we've picked for A. Linz has dropped off quite a bit, so I'm going to put him... Has he been better than Envoy? Yeah, he's probably been better than Envoy this year, to be honest. So, Attach versus Sim. I think Attach has been better over the whole year. Just not this split. But then again, New York haven't been good this split. I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to put Skies ahead of Kismet, actually. And then S, Pred, Insight, Ghosty, Kenny. Oh, see, this is really tough now. Right, These two, I can't decide who's better. Who is the best player in the top 4 teams? Who's the best player outside the top 4? Would you say Gwyn, or would you say Ghosty, or would you say someone else? Let me know down below. Pred, Insight. I think Insight should have been MVP in Major 1, so I'll actually boost him up to there. But he had a bad Major 2. That's the only thing. I'm probably gonna get people saying it's a ridiculous tier list, right? I think I'm happy with that. And then for Z, I'll put Scrap ahead of Hydra. I think that would be my top 5 currently in the game. Simp, Scrap, Hydra, Abizi, and Celium. I'm just not sure. I'm happy with A. Actually, I don't know, because Skies has been good. Oh, damn it, this is hard. I feel like I might be being quite harsh here, Skies. No, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it. They're just... I don't know. These two, there's just something about putting these two in the same category. Right, I'm moving them both up. It's just easier. I think Ghosty. I think Gwyn's had a better season than Kismet because of how good Kismet was last season. And Skies has been decent, but now I just don't think there's enough people in A. I knew I'd end up struggling on this. I knew I'd struggle on this. Right, I'm putting them back. I think I'm gonna just keep it as that. I really don't know. I just think that I just honestly like it's so difficult. It's hard. It's hard doing a tier list is harder than I thought. Genuinely harder than I thought. Like that's it. That's it for now. No, I don't. I really actually don't. I really don't know. No, I'm changing it. Right, Skies is going in there. I think I'm going to keep Ghosty ahead, but I still think obviously overall I think Skies is a better player. But this season I think Ghosty, especially when Ghosty was the best player for Thieves by a mile in Major 1 and 2, and I think this Major 3 has been, but the rest of the team's fine as well. It's just Kismet I'm not sure about. I'm happy with that though. Let me know what you'd pick down below. That is my complete tier list. D's in order from worst. The worst player in the league this season, which I've gone for Assault, but maybe that's quite harsh. Best, I think, is Simp, then Scrap, then Hydra, but you could decide on any of these 5. But yeah, let me know what you'd go for down below. So that is going to be the end of the roundup for this week. Next week, we've obviously got the matches from this week that are coming up, and also my predictions for the Major, which I'm looking forward to that, the predictions for the Major. But yeah, let me know who what your tier lists look like down below. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, I appreciate it. Have a nice rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.